Here's a little homesteading adventure for you. I've got a old dead cedar down in the creek. Oh wow, that's a gigantic spider web. We're men. Rah! So this cedar here is right in the creek bed, which is a problem because it dams up the water flow. You see the creek bed here, you see how much cleaner that is through there, whereas here not so much. So I've cut that at the base. I've got a 1/2 inch rope run up through it down here, run up into the tree tied with a bowline, and then I've got over here a bowline on a bite around the hitch, and we're gonna yank that out. Okay, so we yanked it out. See, use the 250 and a rope back to El Dedo Cedaro tree, although it's only half dead. But this will make a really good fence post or a mantelpiece or something. You see, it's still alive over here. So the roots were partially doing what they were supposed to do, but now we need to limb this out. And the long limbs I will save for fence posts and building sukas. And the brush and the short limbs, we'll go back. See how much this opened this up? Look at this. Boom. And the short limbs and brush will drag across this welded steel footbridge over here to our little brush burning spot at the end of the garden right here. So the reason I like the bowline on a bite for dragging is this. One hand. This part right here, you just slide this back. You can literally shake the knot out. I'm undoing this with one hand. And there we go. Problem solved. So no more knot or hitch. But I mean, I didn't just pull a very heavy load, probably 500, not even 500 pounds of weight, 300 pounds of weight, but a ton or more of resistance. So maybe 500, 300 to 500 pounds of weight, but it comes right out. So it's a great little knot to know for pulling. And I like the bowline on this end. I don't know if you can see the rope right down there wrapped around the tree, but I like the bowline on that end because it acts like a slip knot. The harder you pull it, the better it bites, but then it comes right out again after you take the load off of it. So I'm gonna limb this out and burn the brush portion, and we'll get back to work. We are running the 066 today, and it is running like a champ. So I'll keep y'all posted. All right, I'm gonna introduce y'all to a term that Miss Harmony and I came up with last weekend. You've heard of ADD and ADHD. How about AADD? Agricultural Attention Deficit Disorder. You'll notice we're not where the cedar tree is, or even by the creek. We're over here by this growing compost pile, which is pushing a cubic yard already. And the reason for that is I knocked the cedar down over there by the creek, yanked it up out of the creek, started cutting the limbs. Well, when you cut the limbs, what are you gonna do with them? You got 3 options, really. Leave them lay, chip them, or burn them. So I've been limbing out the cedar. One of the things that we do around here is, like, you see this pile of sticks? Those are cedar and pine limbs. There's one pile, another pile about 3 times the size of that down by the other burn pile at the end of the garden. down there where Harlan's at, where we're burning brush. And so we save those, right? But it's a little labor intensive, but we save those for, we're gonna build a suka out of one pile of them, and fence posts and camp firewood and whatever, okay? So, had to build a fire to burn the limbs and the brush off of the cedar tree. While I'm building the fire, that got me thinking about this last brush pile we had over here that we burnt right there from all these trees down this way up towards the road that we trimmed. And I wanted that ash to go in the compost pile. Well, the compost pile up at that point was nothing but planer chips of German beech hardwood from the shop and some chicken poo. I was like, well, I got all this standing dead corn that needs to come out, this corn silage, so I'll cut the corn silage. So I started cutting corn silage, which is right there. So this all started with the cedar tree in the creek at about 8 a.m. and it's now 10:30, and cedar tree's out of the creek and it's limbed, but it ain't all cleaned up yet. But we've gotten 2 rows of corn silage put in the compost pile, 2 planer bags of wood chips. You're probably asking, like, what do I mean by that? I mean this. Y'all see that? See that? That fluffy hardwood, best tinder on the planet. Dry planer chips. They come out of our planer when we plane boards. We've been planing German beech at the shop. So, why don't you use American beech? Hard to get. Comes out of the northeast, Adirondack Mountains, Appalachian Trail area, Catskill Mountains. There's a lot of beech. There's beech other places too, but it's hard to get. So we get German beech right now. But anyway, all right, so AADD, agricultural attention deficit disorder. So hopefully within the next hour and a half by lunchtime, we'll have the cedar tree cleaned up and I'll have the creek bed cleaned up. But I'm getting all of the pine brush pile down there is pretty much done. Boy Kid's about got that cleaned up. And we got the compost pile going. And we got hopefully the creek cleaned by lunch. So, oh, and we're getting this burn pit cleaned up as well. So this is kind of like when I was talking about that video response to Becca. I hope you're still here, Becca. About, you know, the ambitions of going out into the woods and doing this, and getting it all done. It's doable. It's entirely doable. But in order to do one thing, you got to do 5 other things to make that one thing happen. So your scope creep like crazy. Wouldn't you agree, son? In your professional opinion, how do you feel about agricultural scope creep?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is?
No.
Are you a little smoked right now?
Yes.
Is it hot?
Yes.
Are you sweaty?
Yes.
Are you tough?
Yes.
You want a fist bump about it? All right. Tell the peeps.
The fire doesn't have any flames anymore.
The fire doesn't have any flames anymore. Did you put more needles on it?
No.
Okay, so it needs more oxygen. Now it does. Take the rake. Take the rake. Take the fingers of the rake, put it down in, and do this with it. Look at my hand. Okay?
To move the needles so
it'll shake it loose, and it will aerate it, and that air will cause it to cause fire to come back. All right. Thank you, son.
Mushrooms down
Don't eat those mushrooms.
there? I know.
They'll turn you into a hippie.
Yeah, I feel like kick one over, but...
Don't eat it. All right. Just a constant reminder that this is more work than you think it is. It's going to take longer than you think it's going to take. And you're going to drink more water than you thought, and you're going to get hungry, and it's going to be way more real than you ever prepared for it to be. So I'm taking a quick break, sitting on a log, listening to the fire crackle, and I just wanted to reiterate for all of my preparedness friends out there, if you're going to bug out, that's great. Just understand it's a lot of work. If you're going to bushcraft, go for it. It's a lot of work. If you're going to get into homesteading, I advise fully that you do that. Just know it's a lot of work. And it's not that you can't do it, but you need to just be mentally prepared for it, emotionally prepared for it, and physically prepared for it. And you'll get there. If you have enough ambition, the physical will come, because you'll be out here moving around, and it's probably 95 degrees right now, and it's humid. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's above probably 50% humidity. The air is hazy. It's hot. We're burning brush. We're dragging brush. We're running chainsaws and, you know, raking silage and just living life. It's real. So, see, the rooster agrees. So, it's not that you can't do it. Just be mentally prepared for it. Whew. All right. 11:19 a.m. We got most of the brush from this cedar. So what's left is just some dead sticks from this cedar. This cedar's about a foot wide on the butt end. It's about 10'6" long, I'm guessing. You know what? Let's measure. Guessing 10'6". This was not planned. Could be wrong. Let's see. Oh, didn't stay. Try again. What tape measure do you like, T? Oh man, I don't care. I like the DeWalt 16 footers for doing cabinet work. This thing does not want to stay. All right. Nope. She's 13 foot long. Been a while since I eyeballed a log. And there's nothing wrong with the standard Stanley 25 footer. That's kind of my go-to for framing and all that. But so anyway, we cleared almost all of the brush from this thing. So now we're going to use the pickup truck to skid this log back over to the other side of the creek. And we gotta see that right there, brush fire going, intentional brush fire going, and then we'll skid this log back over there, which we were gonna use to do something cool with, but now we're not, because see down here, see this rot? Termites. So no way no. So this will be campfire wood or something else. And then the point of all this, getting back to the AADD, agricultural attention deficit disorder, the point of all of this was this past spring, this creek flooded, and it flooded bad. And the reason for that is this side of the footbridge looks like this, nice and clear. This side of the footbridge looks like this, full of brush. So I need to get all this brush out of here. And part of that brush was that cedar tree that I just showed y'all. And there's a big pine down in there. I say big, 16, 18 inch diameter pine down in there that needs to get drug out as well. So do 5 things or 10 things to get the one thing done that you want to get done. Gets back to that whole improvise, adapt, and overcome. Have a plan, but understand that your plan is going to fall apart. So understand the tenets of that plan. What are you trying to accomplish with that plan? So when your plan falls apart, you can continue to make progress, because you're not married to the plan, you're married to the ideology of the plan. So now we're going to skid a log. Okay, this truck has less than ideal ground clearance. So I put the top end of the log up on top of the ball hitch. Just laid it there. How did you get it up there? I picked it up. And then I started with a bowline to cinch the rope around. Then I went bowline here and then around and underneath and back up around and underneath, and kind of weaved it all together, and then backed it with 2 half hitches through the remainder of the rope in the back of the truck. And we're gonna take off and skid this log. Oh no, I saw your license plate. Yeah, it leads back to a Shell LLC, so have fun with that. Skidding logs. Let's see what happens. This has a 50% potential for disaster, a 45% potential for complete success, and about a 5% potential for nothing whatsoever happening other than what we intended. Big bump. All right, and I can't swing that into the creek, so we're gonna go up here, cut it hard, and the log fell off the hitch, but we still got it. Oh yeah, we got it. So we're gonna go up here into the big hayfield, bang a Yui, and then come back straight across the creek. So, into the big field we go. Wide turn radius because we're towing something that doesn't have an axle. So back around, there we go. Avoid the pile of pine needles that Harlan tried to mow with the riding lawnmower. I love that boy, but you know, he's a boy. He's like, I wonder what would happen if I get a giant pile of pine needles and try and mow them with the riding lawnmower. Dad needs to fix the lawnmower. That's what happens. Okay, here we go across the creek. I am not using a tow strap. I'm not using a tow chain. I'm using a piece of 7,000 pound rated 1/2-inch Arbor Flex climbing line that I generally use for rigging nowadays. Miss Harmony is looking at me like, WTF, bro? She's totally giving me that look right now. And we made it. All right, off, maybe off. It's 2:37 p.m. I'm on my second shirt of the day. My first one is over here and about 80% water, sweat rather. And I got filled with cedar needles down the back of my neck, so it got taken out of service. But still got brush burning. And we've now taken 4 trees out of the creek. And it's getting better. See? Getting better. It's not quite this side, but it is getting better. Mr. Harlan thinks he's got poison ivy. Miss Aspen Eliza got stung on the fingertip trying to pet a hornet. So Shiny and Mama are inside with them. My brother James is on his way over to come hang out. And Daddy needs a beer. But I'll tell you what, the point that I wanted to make in all of this is, my Fridays here, my prep days, I spend probably 7 or 8 hours outside working, and those 7 or 8 hours outside here are far more intense than the 12, 14 hour days I do in Texas doing construction and woodworking. So if you think you're just gonna roll out here and it's gonna be easy, ain't gonna happen. You wanna talk to the peeps, or you smoked? Tell them how easy homesteading is.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Especially when you have a baby that just got stung by a red wasp.
Oh, it's a red wasp. Oh, good deal.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that lends to a piece of advice that...
Don't pet insects.
Well, don't pet insects, but also, like, the best thing for a sting is spit and tobacco.
Yep.
So, if you don't smoke, have a pack of cigarettes in your go bag or whatever. So, in the event that you do get stung by something, you've got that remedy on hand. And because luckily enough, we did. And as soon as it got put on the sting, the hysterical crying and meltdown ceased. So,
because I don't tobacco anymore, and you're in the process of not tobaccoing.
Right.
You're weaning right now.
So
she's a joy to be around.
but they're very thankful. That made me
Yeah.
think like, okay, well, yeah, if we didn't have anything in the house,
Yeah, then what?
then yeah, like it would have been hysteria for probably a while because her finger's already pretty swelled up.
Sweet.
So
Which finger?
her ring finger.
Ring finger?
Yeah. But
Okay.
but yeah, I stepped in a beehive once when I was little, and ground wasps, and got swallowed by them. And luckily enough, my dad was a smoker and tore all my clothes off running down the road and basically covered me up in spit and tobacco, and it helped. So
You reminded me of a story.
so and not spitting tobacco, but actual spit mixed
Yum.
with tobacco.
Yum.
So
All right, I'm gonna drive into town and
Okay.
get some beer. What kind of beer you want? Corona? With limes?
No,
We'll figure it out.
you must procure limes.
I'll get limes.
Unless I drink some of my honeysuckle shine.
Honeysuckle moonshine. This one. All right, yeah, whatever. I'm getting beer.
Okay.
It's time.
Okay.
It's close enough to 3 p.m.
Are James and Tia gonna get
Yeah.
like right when you leave?
We'll figure it out. I'm going. We need beer. All right, I'll tell you all the story in the
I just wanna
truck.
let you know baby was okay.
Baby is okay.
Her
All right.
finger's swelling up, but she's all right.
Somebody needs to babysit this.
Okay, I'll send somebody out.
Okay. I'll be back in a few. This is how my day has ended. You brought me meat.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing me meat.
You're welcome.
This is James, who got me the $6 hatchet and then spent $30 in fuel to bring it to me.
Right in Aspen's face.
Yeah, she loves it when my butt's in her face. So we now have a house with 2 men, 2 women, and how many? 5 children?
Yes, I can't.
5 and 1 on the way.
I can't count.
And so, as I was saying earlier, if you think you're just gonna homestead and walk right into it, not so much. And so, you and I have been talking a while
bit,
now,
yeah.
right? Oh, by the way, you're on camera.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Remember, like a month ago when I was like, we should shoot a video sometime?
Yeah, and I forgot to bring my makeup.
Sometimes here. So, but I thought it was very compelling when you were talking about, like, you shoot your rifle all the time, and you took a couple shots here recently, and even shooting your rifle all the time, you still need, you were saying you still need
Yeah,
range time.
I need practice.
And just building fire yesterday.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's funny to me how it all comes back to go work on your skills, get better, and there is no, oh, I've made it, I know how to do
Yeah,
this.
I can build a fire. I knew how.
Right.
Like it's not a hard task. It was just proficiently being able to do it on a dime.
Right.
Like I needed practice.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, we have lots of babies. We have lots of babies right now. There's another one somewhere. Where'd you go?
Right in front of you.
There it is.
Behind you, bud.
There it is. Say hi. So yeah, we're all kind of in this stage of life right now where we have lots of babies.
Don't climb on the table.
There's one. Say hi. You're not mine.
Say hi.
Your names.
Wave at him.
Whoa. So we'll shoot a little bit more in a bit, but I wanted to put a bow on this conversation I've been having with people today all day about the whole, like, happy homesteading is a myth. Like, it's fun, but you're gonna put some time in. So it is pushing 5:02 p.m. and we're about to have dinner. So bye.